Welcome back to our channel where we learn and reflect on compelling stories throughout history. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most infamous political scandals in American history, the Watergate Scandal. This story has everything: political intrigue, covert operations, and a fall from grace that forever changed the landscape of American politics. Today, we're going to unravel the complexities of the Watergate Scandal. So, let's start at the beginning. It all began on June 17, 1972. 5 men were arrested for breaking into the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate office complex in Washington, D.C. But this was no ordinary burglary. These men were not common criminals. They were part of a larger scheme orchestrated by the committee to re-elect the president, known as CRP or CREEP, to gather intelligence on the Democratic Party. The burglars were caught wiretapping phones and stealing documents. Initially, the break-in seemed like a minor incident, and the Nixon administration attempted to distance itself from the event. However, 2 investigative journalists from the Washington Post, Bob Woodward and Bernstein, started digging deeper. Their relentless pursuit of the truth unveiled connections between the burglars and top officials in the Nixon administration. Woodward and Bernstein uncovered that the break-in was part of a larger campaign of political espionage and sabotage, orchestrated by members of President Richard Nixon's re-election committee. The burglars had links to the White House, and funds used for their operations were traced back to Nixon's campaign contributors. This was the tip of the iceberg, revealing a widespread abuse of power. As the story gained traction, the FBI began an investigation, which soon revealed a pattern of illegal activities. These included bugging the offices of political opponents, using the Internal Revenue Service to audit and harass political enemies, and a secret slush fund used for these covert operations. The scandal gradually earned the moniker Watergate, named after the building where the break-in occurred. One of the most significant aspects of the Watergate scandal was the cover-up. Key White House officials, including Nixon's top aides H.R. Haldeman and John Ehrlichman, along with Attorney General John Mitchell, were implicated in efforts to obstruct the FBI's investigation. They attempted to use the CIA to hinder the FBI's probe, falsely claiming that the break-in was related to national security. In 1973, the Senate established the Senate Watergate Committee to investigate the scandal. Televised hearings captivated the nation as former White House counsel John Dean testified that there was a cancer on the presidency, and that Nixon had been involved in the cover-up from the beginning. The most shocking revelation came when it was discovered that Nixon had installed a tape recording system in the White House that recorded many conversations, including those implicating him in the cover-up. These tapes became the smoking gun. The existence of the tapes was revealed during the Senate hearings, leading to a legal battle over their release. Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox demanded the tapes, leading to the infamous Saturday Night Massacre on October 20, 1973, when Nixon ordered the firing of Cox. Attorney General Elliot Richardson and Deputy Attorney General William Ruckelshaus both resigned in protest rather than carry out the order. Solicitor General Robert Bork ultimately fired Cox, but the public outcry forced Nixon to appoint a new special prosecutor, Leon Jaworski. After a long legal battle, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled in United States v. Nixon that the president had to hand over the tapes. On August 5, 1974, one of these tapes, known as the smoking gun tape, was released. It provided undeniable evidence that Nixon had ordered the FBI to halt its investigation into the Watergate break-in, directly implicating him in the obstruction of justice. Facing certain impeachment and removal from office, Richard Nixon chose to resign on August 8, 1974, addressing the nation in a televised speech. He became the first and only U.S. president to resign. His successor, Gerald Ford, later pardoned him for any crimes he might have committed while in office, a decision that was highly controversial and arguably cost Ford the 1976 presidential election. The Watergate scandal led to the indictment of 69 people, with trials or pleas leading to 48 being found guilty, many of whom were top Nixon officials. The scandal resulted in a profound loss of trust in public officials and led to numerous reforms aimed at increasing transparency and accountability in government, including the establishment of the Ethics in Government Act and significant amendments to the Freedom of Information Act. Watergate was more than just a political scandal for several reasons. The first reason was a threat to democracy. The scandal exposed how a sitting president and his administration could misuse power to undermine democratic processes. Nixon's team engaged in activities that threatened the integrity of the electoral system, demonstrating how fragile democratic institutions can be when power is abused. The second reason was the erosion of public trust. Watergate significantly eroded public trust in government officials and institutions. The blatant misuse of power, followed by the cover-up, made citizens more skeptical about the honesty and integrity of their leaders. This distrust has had a lasting impact on American political culture. A third reason was the media's role in accountability. The investigative journalism by Woodward and Bernstein showcased the essential role of a free press in holding those in power accountable. Their persistent reporting brought critical information to light that might have otherwise remained hidden, highlighting the media's vital function in a democracy. The legal and political reforms was the fourth reason. In the aftermath of Watergate, numerous reforms were enacted to increase transparency and accountability in government. These included the Ethics in Government Act, which established the Office of Government Ethics, and amendments to the Freedom of Information Act, which improved public access to government records. Another reason was the judicial precedents. The Supreme Court's unanimous decision in United States v. Nixon was pivotal. It reinforced the principle that not even the president is above the law, setting a significant legal precedent for the limits of executive privilege. A further reason was the checks and balances. Watergate underscored the importance of checks and balances within the U.S. government. The scandal illustrated how the legislative and judicial branches can act as counterweights to the executive branch, ensuring that power is not concentrated in any one part of the government. Lastly, the cultural impact. The term Watergate has become synonymous with political scandal and corruption. It has shaped the way Americans view political ethics and has become a reference point for subsequent scandals, both in the U.S. and globally. The suffix "gate" is now commonly used to describe other controversies. It was a defining moment in American history that underscored the importance of a free press, the rule of law, and the checks and balances within the U.S. government. The legacy of Watergate is a reminder of the need for vigilance in protecting democratic institutions and holding those in power accountable. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more historical deep dives. And let us know in the comments what other historical events you'd like us to cover next. Until next time, keep exploring history.